Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today on the Insane Game Freak channel, we're gonna talk about Pokemon for the 50 millionth time, motherfucker! So get ready, turn on your motherfucking speakers, crank that bitch up, go get some apple juice and prepare to have another fucking discussion video. Hi guys. So it has recently come to my attention, and from what I've been hearing and seeing, that people aren't super excited about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I can't say I'm surprised, because I'm not super excited about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. And people are like, I don't understand what the problem is. This game looks amazing. It's a remake of Gen 1. Your Pokemon follow around you. What's the big deal? Listen. Mega Evolution's got... Listen, this game is not for me. It's not for most hardcore Pokemon fans, the ones that look into the meta and the ones who follow the moves and people who care about the fucking lore. This is for the Go player. I said this in the original video. This is for the player who played Pokemon Go and goes, man, I remember playing Pokemon when I was little or back in the 90s. I want to have that feeling again. Picked up the game, and some of you guys got addicted again. Some of you kind of played it for a little while and walked the fuck away. But there's like 60 billion of you fuckers who are still playing the game, old and new fans. And guess what? This game is for you. And people need to understand that Go not doing well wouldn't be the worst thing in the world either. Because it's a pandering ass game. The fact that they brought Mega Evolutions back shows me they don't give a fuck about balance. I guess to put this in perspective is that Pokemon's almost become a yearly franchise. It seems to hover for a while, but for the most part, you can go a good chunk of years with getting a Pokemon game every fucking year. And I'm talking about a main game, whether it's a part 2 to an already existing gen or a new generation. We always got a new game for the most part, like a year after year. And I think that's kind of a problem. And one of my biggest concerns going out of the 3DS era was that from X and Y to Ultra Sun and Moon, it felt like the hardware couldn't keep up with what Game Freak was trying to do. That's why when we heard that, oh shit, they're putting a mainline series game on the Switch, people were excited because we were curious what they would do with all that processing power. So you need to understand from a fan's perspective, it's kind of disappointing that the first game that comes out on the Switch is essentially what I would view X and Y. It's like it's our first 3D title, so we're going to kind of nerf the shit out of it. Although this game has even less originality than that game. And more than likely this game is going to be easy as fuck. Which is insane to me considering Gen 1 was considerably one of the harder generations. Granted, not for one of the right reasons, but it at least was a challenging gen. And I understand why, because this isn't for me. The remake that I wanted, I got back on the Game Boy Advance with Fire Red and Leaf Green. That's the remake for me, alright? Fuck this new shit. And the problem is that, and people need to understand that from a hardcore fan's perspective, this game comes off lazy as shit to us. Because let's think about it. It's a retread of the same game that this is the third time remake. Well, it depends if you count the Johto Kanto thing as a remake in a way. Because you could say it happened in Gen 2. It happened in Gen 3 because they remade Gen 1. And then it happened again in Gen 4 because they remade Gen 2 that has Gen 1 in it. That's debatable. That's up to you. Whatever. The point is, this is not their first rodeo in Generation 1 land, okay? Whether it's the Johto version or the original version. This is not their first rodeo. And the biggest fucking problem is that our major advancement going from a 3DS to a Switch is that we're back to the original 151. But we have Mega Evolutions, which aren't fucking balanced. And, oh, my Pokemon follow me around, and HD graphics. Like, really, and then from what and hell, the fact that the way they announced this was a problem in itself. It was announced in Japan. It was announced in Japan during a Japan presentation, and all we got was a fucking video for it. That's a little weird, considering Pokemon is a franchise that you could literally do a goddamn direct for, and everybody's gonna be listening. You could be casual as fuck. You're like, what? There's new Pokemon news? I have a friend who doesn't even play Nintendo shit like that. And as soon as he hears the word Pokemon, that motherfucker is gone. What's going on? What happened? Tell me about it, bruh. Is it something I should go and pick up? So the fact that they were so low-key about even talking about this game was kind of weird in its own right. And then all the information we've gotten about it isn't enough because realistically, how much can you really share with me? It's fucking Gen 1 again. I wonder who the gym leaders are. Well, we've seen Brock, Misty, Lieutenant Surge. I don't think we've seen Erica yet, but we've seen at least the first 3 gym leaders. And guess what? Look exactly the same. You do the same shit. The St. Anne is there. Fighting Team Rocket. I'm trying to think of all the major plot points. Mount Moon. All that shit. All that shit's there. And then what's made it worse is that you've simplified the gameplay. Now, don't get me wrong. These are tweaks that I think should be thought about in future games. For example, the wild Pokemon battle thing is very controversial with me because I think that you still need to have wild battles, and I like the idea of having the Pokemon roam in the world. But realistically, I think part of the reason why they didn't throw out the entire generations is because A, it doesn't really fit for a Gen 1 remake, although it would have made it a lot more interesting, personally. If you had started fucking with the Pokemon orders and started giving me, like, Misty with Gen 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Pokemon instead of just, oh, here's another fucking Seaking and a Golding and a Starmie and a Staryu. Look at these unique Pokemon we got here. A cool callback would have been to use her team from Black and White 2 from the World Championship Tournament. That would have been a cool fucking callback. Have her modernize her generation. And then on top of that, you have this bullshit now where it's like, hey guys, show me the type of Pokemon that's weak to this gym leader. That this gym leader is weak against. And you're like, what? Why is that now a requirement for gyms? You've made a game even easier now. I don't have to fight wild battles. So which to me is dumb in its own right, but I can understand that being a time-saving thing. But see, the rest of the game felt like it was making steps forward instead of trying to simplify the formula that was already pretty simple to begin with. Right? That's such a dumb fucking requirement. The same stupid requirement that, oh, by the way, you can only move the Pokemon. You can only catch Pokemon by shaking the Pokeball or shaking the Joy-Con. And I'm like, dude, you've casualized Pokemon to the point where people sat there and said, Pokemon isn't hardcore. And we used to argue, no, it's not. This game is so fucking casual, it's insane. I don't even know how, oh, look, our rival isn't a dick anymore. What? It almost feels like this game spits in the face of everything the Pokemon fans did not want. With a few things that are interesting. The idea that Pokemon in the overworld, interesting. Wild Battles is controversial, but that one can go either way. Almost everything else is like a step back. You've literally taken the same basic-ass Gen 1 design and thrown it into an HD game in 2018. That is absolutely fucking insane. You didn't change the layouts. You didn't even try to get creative. And once again, it's because it's a remake of fucking Yellow. There's Jesse and James. Every anime fan will tell you, I'm sick and fucking tired of seeing Jesse and James. Because Jesse and James haven't been interesting for a while now. Because Jesse and James suck. Be real with you. We have Masuda's comments talking about how he doesn't plan to make the mainline games more inaccessible from people. He still wants those to be just as approachable as the new games. And people need to understand that that makes sense. It's Pokemon. Pokemon will never be a fucking a hardcore fan base only franchise. And I'm perfectly cool with that. I don't care if it's not the hardcorest franchise. But I don't want to feel like I'm literally not taking any steps forward. You still have us on this grid-based layout. You still have us going through the same trudges of, oh, look, there's the grass. Look, there's the normal walk. I guess this is what we're doing. There's no changes in elevation in a lot of these games. And to be fair, you guys just recently started doing 3D. You started doing 3D 5 years ago. Because you started 2013. Well, actually, to be fair, it was before that. Because you were working on X and Y before 2013. So technically, probably like 6, 7 years ago, you've been working on 3D models and shit. I want you to shake up the Pokemon format. And I think Sun and Moon, to me, at least for me anyway, was a step in that direction of you guys starting to get more creative and interesting with what you wanted to do. I'm perfectly down with that. I just don't want you to look at Let's Go and think that you need to start implementing a bunch of fucking mechanics from there that don't do a goddamn thing. Don't look at Let's Go sales and be like, look guys, this made a bunch of money, let's just do that again. Because I swear to God, you will piss on the genes of every Pokemon fan. And I think some Pokemon fans realize that shit. They realize because it's a separate franchise that it's like, okay, I don't care if you keep doing Go. Just realize, but the problem with that is that you could argue Go is splitting the fan base. Go is so far removed in a way from like traditional Pokemon that for me, looking at that game, it's just like that doesn't do shit for me. Am I excited when they sit there and hype up Mega Kangaskhan and Mega fucking Gyarados? You mean the Pokemon that were interesting, what, 5 years ago when you started releasing and having information about it? It's not interesting at all. Oh, look, you got all this cool shit you can do with Pikachu and Eevee. Fine, let's keep that and move that over to the next game. Cool. Pokemon following you and them all having different running and walking habits. That's perfectly cool. I'm down for all that shit. Alright, keep it going. Pokemon visible in the overworld. Fucking great. Makes the world feel alive and shit. But for the love of God, don't give me this friendly rival shit. Get experimental. I think Gladion was a good step in that direction. Same thing goes for this stupid ass, oh look, we're on the same grid-based level and the areas don't really feel wide and expansive. Sun and Moon had me travel to four or five different islands. I don't want to discredit Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon made a pretty active effort in trying to make these worlds seem more influential. The other thing I don't care for is that we're still in a fucking RPG game that has a wild, sprawling world that the camera's fixed. Now, this is a minor complaint. It's nothing really huge. At the same time, come on. Do you know how long as a child I've been geeking out about the idea of living in a world that Pokemon existed in? And then now every time I walk into a field, it's like, here's this grid, and here's the town. The town is this grid. This shit doesn't feel natural. It feels like I'm just like, especially Gen 1 does not age well compared to the later aesthetics of other games. Alright, that's just the truth, alright? So looking at this and being a sign, it's just, you're not, so I can completely understand why the fan base, and people need to understand, this is why we're not excited about Let's Go. Let's Go will be another fucking game, and the problem is that this is probably the most far removed a Pokemon title, a mainline title, or at least a main console title has been like from the fan base. Like like the other games you can argue with spin-offs, and you could technically argue that, but the way they're pushing Go, like it's like a brand new experience, it's literally one of those titles where I can honestly see a bunch of people like, alright, whatever. Listen, I love Pokemon. Pokemon will be one of those franchises that always sticks with me. Unfortunately, it's kind of like in the same tier as Sonic with me, where I am almost obligated to get my hands on something Pokemon or Sonic related, like almost every year. Except Sonic Team Racing, that game looks pretty boring to me. Ironically enough, it's the same thing with Pokemon. Game doesn't look super interesting to me. Does that mean I'm not going to watch playthroughs of the game? Does that mean I will never pick up the game? No, but at the same time, I'm not the dude rushing out for it. They downplay the shit out of the online too. It just feels like a step back in almost every fucking way with some minor aesthetic appeal to it. And do I really care that Mega Charizard X and Y are in the same game? No, you know why? Because we've been playing with them for years. And then people wonder why no one's excited for it. And you think people are freaking out about Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee? Because I can style Pikachu's hair? I could do fucking cool shit in X and Y. And that game was limited when it came to fucking design. I don't think remakes are cutting it anymore. I don't think they'll ever stop doing them because they make money, but I just don't. I think, especially Gen 3's is literally the most offensive thing I've seen in a while. Gen 3's fucking remake was disappointing as shit for me, and I just, they weren't ready to do it, and I feel like it suffered for it, and they'll go right to Diamond Pro, and Diamond Pro, they'll get fucking perfect. And Gen 3 will be sitting there in the ditch, we're like, oh, look, guys, I had a remake, too. It was kind of okay, except for the fact that we lost a bunch of fucking content and shit. But hey, we don't talk about that. I think a lot of Pokemon fans don't understand that from a hardcore perspective, even though knowing there's going to be a new game next year, doesn't mean nothing if they're stuck to the same design philosophy. Pokemon needs to change, just like Zelda needed to change. And I mean real fucking change, not this halfway shit. Alright? From my perspective, it's hard to get excited about a game when it represents way more than it should because of what it is. It's a Pokemon Go tie-in game. And it's remaking the same fucking generation I'm tired of seeing. I was so tired. People don't realize Gen 6 was offensive as shit to me because I was so tired of the Gen 1 pandering that Game Freak did up and down. Up and motherfucking down. They just sat there and they fucking sucked the shit out of Gen 1's dick. And I was like, dude, can we move the fuck on, please? And guess what? They start their Switch run with another game that essentially sucks the dick of Gen 1. I wouldn't have been surprised if they made more Gen 1 Megas, because fuck it, why not? And I didn't really care for the Alola forms either, but they were at least way more interesting than fucking Mega Evolutions in making Pokemon look biased as shit. At least to me, Alola forms tried to be fair about what it was trying to do. Bruh. So yeah, the first Switch game is essentially another, hey guys, you remember Gen 1? I hope you do, because it wasn't like we tried to pander to you maybe like a few years ago. Hell, if you want to count Sun and Moon's Alola forms, a fucking year or two ago. It's fucking insane. Moving on. I'm just done with this shit, dude. So if you're surprised that people aren't excited for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, that's why. Because it's the same fucking game a bunch of us have played numerous times, with some small additions that are kind of cool and everything else that's a fucking nerf. I would almost argue this is probably more offensive to me than Gen 3's remake, because at least they tried to keep the majority of that game intact. This game, it seems like you've casualized it to the point of infuriation. But I don't know, that's just me. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. I would love to hear your opinion. I expect the dislike bar to be a little bit longer than usual. I don't know how much longer, but hell, I might feel insecure by the end of it. We'll see. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. This has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game. Play to win, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Hope you're excited for Pokemon, because my Eevee's on my head.